Hello. I think you've got a choice now. Do you want a couple of love songs, or do you want some original 1970s ranting poems, or do you want some songs about animals? Ranting, you want some ranting? Here's for the ranting then. This might not be as smooth as it used to be. Always weird when they say beat poems. Beat poems. Is that an instruction? Beat the poem. Can't see anything now. I think that we have to regard this as being of its time. This is the poem that I wrote in 1972, just before I got extradited from Manchester for being ironic. Adonis checked the mirror to make sure his perfection was complete, slammed the door of his bed sitter and hit the street, sashes down the sidewalk, slides into a pub for 3 pints of Tetleys before he moves on to his club. In a fedora and a trench coat, he looks really neat. Sharp in his Ben Sherman, the one he got for Christmas, the one that sets him off for treats. His olive green Levi's stay breast, the ones with an island fly. Compliments his Paul McCartney jumper and his grammar school tie. He empties his shoulders, checks the money in his bin, arrives at the top 20 club and swans right in. Moving in the half-light with my hair out of place and a sophisticated sneer set firmly on his face. He swaggers to the crowded bar looking like James Dean, takes a swig of water down a barrel and susses out the seam. The dicky ball bouncers stand like tree trunks near the door. The girls are mostly dancing round piles of handbags on the floor. Adonis moved around the wall searching for his prey and thinking when he's found her what he's going to say to maximise his chances of scoring first time. He's analysed the problem and worked out the perfect line. He turns as if he knows her and starts to rave about Otis Redding's latest single, Prince Buster and Sam and Dave. Before she knows what's hit her, he has her on her feet, grinning like a lunatic with her handbag at his feet. They move into a corner and tell each other lies. He buys her a brace of baby shams, slides his attentions to her thighs. She says her name is Frida, she works at Tesco's and the till, agrees to let him take her home and implies she will. Adonis smiled and squeezed her hand and left her reeling with the brilliance of his wit and went the long way round to the bar to put himself about a bit. He grooved around the dance floor to a gritty looping riff when his nostrils quivered as a delicate whiff of paraffia droop. He's talking on a spliff. Frida got tired of waiting and went off to do her hair. Adonis scored her uppers and with a nonchalant flair took to the dance floor with his doobies in tow to the strains of the four tops and the uppers and the blow. Frida returned with her toilet complete and joined them on the dance floor, bopping to the beat, trilling and backdropping and spinning in the heat. When the night was over, Adonis took her home to fumble with her clothing in her Prestwich room to make a date for Sunday for a stroll in Eaton Park, for a ride on the boating lake and an afternoon lark. Looking around museums, sitting in the sun, his intentions were purely carnal. Frida thought a new romance had just begun. Thank you. In order to fill up my 7.5 minutes with suitable stuff, I'll continue. The advantage of being an old bloke is that you can write your poems in real time. This one's about Frida's daughter, Marsha. It's called Marsha and the Motorway. When I do this poem, it's quite a long poem, so when I do this poem, I usually expect somebody to buy me a drink.
Simon?
If I can get all through it, I will be anticipating that event. There were hotels, motels serving early morning tea, Alarm calls for early risers, breakfast repartee, mint fresh newspapers served upon a tray, and march up the slip road to the monster motorway. Granadas containing businessmen sped past her at a lick, salesmen in cortinas chasing escorts for the kick. Roved around the roundabout, the heroes of forward, and Marsha on her outstretched thumb was studiously ignored by the Monday morning mighty metros, the motorway menage a trois. Feed me speed, they plead, for me the motorway and the car. A cop car cruising for Carrion pulls up by her with a splash. Her window winds down, her face pops out and looks her up and down. Marsha's going nowhere, the cops are going to town. On Marsha's shabby shoulder back looking for clues, while a hungover maniac in a Mercedes flies off to make the news. In a multiple tangle of cars and bodies 5 miles up the road, Marsha's giving private information, the tanker sheds its load. Across all 3 lanes of traffic and ignites on the spot. Marsha's getting frisked for drugs, the pilot's getting up, the cops get careless. Miss Marsha's stash, a call on the radio makes them dash to the scene of the apocalypse with blue lights flashing, where the monsters of the motorway are speeding and crashing into the inferno where the end is swift. And Marsha's getting hungry at the slip road waiting for a lift. Lunchtime brings the sun out, Marsha sings the motorway blues. The carnage 5 miles up the road makes the 1 o'clock news. And Marsha makes a mistake and climbs in with a freak whose party piece is flashing. He gives Marsha a crafty peek at his personal appendage quivering at his crutch. She gives it a rap with a love beat and his ardour takes a dive. And she escapes at the service station glad to be arrived. She's had Romeos in Rovers, Casanovas in Capris, short-sighted sex fiends who mistake the gear stick for her knees. The sex and not for your honour or your life. It's a man's life behind the wheel, but don't tell the wife. Marsha at the service station looking for a ride. Air brakes this on a gleaming daft with Anson Mick inside. Check shirt rolled up to his shoulder blades. Hits her with a cheesy grin. Marsha beams back at him, cocks her leg up and clambers in. There's chocolate on the dashboard, sunflower on the seat. The stereo's playing cowboy music. Marsha taps her feet. They split a Coca-Cola, share a Yorkie and a laugh. Jackknife into a lorry park to steam up the blue-tinted windscreen of the daft. But daylight turns to dusk and darkness, desperation and despair. Marsha's in love with a lonesome trucker, but soon he will be gone, and she'll be out at the roundabout and Mick will mosey on. Marsha hits the jackpot, tucks into a big fast car for a smooth ride home with music. Montavani with no strings. She fondles half a Yorkie bar rapper, hums these foolish things as headlights hit the skyline, laser into the night. Motorway turns to an A road to a B road and she's home. Marsha at her front door, Marsha in her room. Marsha laid upon her bed, dreaming in the gloom. Was it history repeating itself, a memory that wouldn't go away? For Frida's daughter Marsha on the monster motorway. Thank you. After that. Yes, I. Was that my 7.5 minutes? You want more? Yeah. Oh man, go on. Because you mean good. James. Because you mean good, I'm going to sing this song.
James. Leslie.
Do you want a song about a cat, a dog, an elephant, or a saber-toothed tiger? The cat's the best one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a real pleasure. Nothing's quite so bad, nothing's quite so smelly as a pile of bubbling, warmed up cat poo sizzling behind your telly. Is it behind the settee? Is it under the chair? Is it hidden in the rubber plant? Well, the pussycat don't care. She just goes, don't put cats in flats without cat flap. Go out for a walk to a flat full of cat crap. If the smoke keeps you awake all night, then you should have got a cat that will serve you right. And the pussycat purred, and somewhere in my living room the lurks a turd. The pussycat smiled and licked her fur, swore it got nothing to do with her. She purred, don't keep cats in flats without a cat trap. Go out for a walk, come home to a flat for a cat crap. If the smoke is you awake all night, then you should have got a cat flap, so it serves you right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Audi Maserati. Are you all having fun? You're all still here because it's a bit dark. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a few more acts for you before this evening comes to a close, our first pop-up gig. It's with some trepidation I actually bring this next band on, because the last time I organised something from them, just as they were about to strum up, the electricity went off. So let's not, I hope it won't be acoustic this evening, but